What's happening everybody, welcome to a new video. Haven't done a review for quite a while, so I went off to Sainsbury's and I just bought the cheapest thing I could buy. Which was reduced from I think £17.99 down to about £8. Not a bad price for two Microfighters. I'm not a big fan of Microfighters, I think they're quite childish and I'm just not a big fan of them. But for that price I couldn't really turn them down, it's essentially buy one get one free. Anyway, this is a look at set 75195, Ski Speeder versus First Order Walker. Let's get into it. Comes with two building instructions. Okay, so we have two bags, I'm guessing one for the Speeder and one for the Walker, and we have instructions for each. Right, as you can see, these are the two Microfighters. We have an AT-M6 and the Ski Speeder. Of course, this is the Battle of Crate from The Last Jedi, which was interesting to say the least, but we're not going to talk about the film, we're here to talk about these Microfighters. Now, as a set, because this is it's a sort of two-in-one set, so it's like two combined in one, this should have cost £18, well, £17.99. Is what its RRP is over here, and I picked this up for about £8 for in the sale, so that's not bad. That's about, you know, half price. I'm essentially buying one of these for the price of two and a bit more, and I'll get onto this in just a moment. So for that price you are getting two Microfighters for this, well, the same price as two Microfighters, two individual ones, and this little bit here. So what you're essentially getting is this for extra for free. So you're getting a few extra bricks and a little bit of extra playability for free, and what's not good about that? Adds a tiny little incentive to buy one of these, because you're getting a little bit more for your money. So first of all, we're going to go and we're going to have a look at the Ski Speeder. Overall, for a Microfighter, this has quite a nice design. Most Microfighters are all sort of cartoony and bunched up and look really weird and have weird proportions. But I think overall, although it's a bit pudgy here, the design is actually quite good. I quite like it, as well, for a Microfighter. It's got all that you would want on it. It's got actually quite really good detailing and greebling in this aft section here. Don't know whether you can see that. All this sort of in the film it's supposed to be old and falling apart, and you can sort of see that coming through, even down to the details of the little thing that sticks out the bottom when it skims along the planet. Again, and the way it all like folds up, very clever. So we've got this cockpit here, not much room for the pilot, it's just a couple of studs. And he hasn't got much protection, he's just essentially just sat on the top there. Playability wise, it comes with two stud shooters, which I'm sure by now you already know work thus. Very good. You've got this bit at the bottom that flings up and down. This sort of flag piece on the back is actually quite a nice addition and works well for the set, for what they were trying to do. It'd be very difficult to try and get what it's actually to, you know, like in real life to look like. And again, I think just all round it's actually quite movie accurate. Yes, this does have a blue colour scheme compared to the ones in the film which have a dark red colour scheme, but it just makes it a little bit different to the one that's the £80 one or whatever it is of the full size set. It's just something a bit different. I'm afraid I won't be singing the praises of the AT-M6 as highly as I was for the skimmer. That's mainly because this is essentially just the AT-AT that we got from 2014 or whatever it was. But it's essentially the same design, just updated a little bit. It's kind of boring. One of the things I will point out is that the legs don't move very far. Like, they'll move forward a lot, which is fine, but back, they have no articulation. So you've got this headpiece here, which swivels on a little Technic ball joint, and I like the use of these grey tooth pieces here to get that sort of chin effect that we see on them. That's actually really quite cool, I quite like that. I also haven't got any of those pieces before, so again, good value for money. Of course, you've got like the red windscreen that comes with all these first order vehicles. It's fine. A couple of stud shooters, you've seen how they work, I'm not going to explain again. In here, this is the where the minifigure will sit. It's got one of these new printed 2x1 slopes, and they're really cool. I like these. No longer have to work out all those stickers. This is just a really nice and actually high quality piece. That's some really good quality printing actually, it's really, really nice. I like it. What you'll also notice is that because in the Ski Speeder, if I just bring it up again here, the minifigure is in a rather open cockpit, it has several of these studs that it sits on, but you can just tilt it out and it's easy to get out, it's fine. Here, however, because he's much more enclosed, embedded within the back of the walker, it'll be a lot more difficult to try and extract him if you have studs. So what they've done is they've put him one of these pieces and his legs essentially just sort of straddle it either side. So that just sort of squeezes and holds him in there and makes him a lot easier to take out, which is a good design choice. What else have we got on here? We've got this sort of thing at the back, that's some greebling at the back, that's sort of angled to give you that sort of angled back. It also acts as a bit of a backrest for your minifigure. I wish they'd done a little bit more with the back, it looks a bit unfinished at the back here. But the rest of it, I must say, actually looks quite well finished. It looks rather good. I would say though, if you wanted a Microfighter walker, I would go for the original AT-AT from 2014 or whatever year it came out, because it's better. And I also think that the minifigure for that is better, but I'll get onto that in a minute. And finally, we come to the minifigures. So with the Ski Speeder, we have this, I nearly called him a rebel pilot. He's a resistance pilot. And we also have an AT-M6 driver. So let's move him out of the way first. We're just going to have a look at the pilot here. This is a really, really nice head mould. It's really detailed. Especially that headset on the side there. That headset on the side is really, really detailed, and so is that jumpsuit. Comes in a really nice sort of earthy brown colour. Very nice. And the detailing on the print is pretty spectacular actually. It's really, really, really refined. I like the good bearded face, it looks really cool, and I don't think we get... No, we don't get a reverse head, but that's a look at the back of the torso as well. Pretty standard, but that's pretty nice. Yeah, he's a pretty good looking figure, and I think it's this double sort of headset and hairpiece that makes the figure. It's really, really cool design. Now, I think they should do it more often. I think it's really cool. Let's bring back our AT-M6 driver. He is very, very similar to the AT-AT pilot that we used to get back in the day. He's got the same helmet as the flame troopers and the snow troopers here, with these vents on the bottom of his helmet. He's also got this sort of grey marking down the side of it, which I think is supposed to make him look cool, but it kind of just makes him look like an emo child. It's not a good look. If they had one down the other side, it could look cool. Or if they got rid of it completely, it might look cool, but it's just the sort of one down the... It's just like having an emo mop of hair coming down, covering one eye and being really edgy. It just looks really weird. I don't particularly like it. The rest of his torso print is quite detailed. It's very nice. It's not as good as the Resistance pilots, but it is very nice. And around the back it's very similar to the normal Stormtrooper armour, but with a little bit of grey here. Underneath his helmet, it's Angry Clone. I wish they would just think of something slightly more interesting to put under their helmets now. And there's another look at that helmet. Ugh. So overall, I think of these two, I think the Resistance pilot is the better figure. I think he's the more interesting figure. But then again, the pilot for the AT-M6 is much better for army building, which you could easily do with a cheap set like this. So I think for my final verdict for this set, I'm going to have to give it... I'm going to be lenient. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I wouldn't normally give Microfighters anything near that. Normally I'd give them like a 2, because they're just not very good. But I have to say that the figures in this are actually quite good, and I have to say that particularly this ski speeder, the design of it is actually really quite nice. And it's more just like a mini kit, rather than it being a Microfighter. This is less good. You may as well just get the much cheaper AT-80, because it'll be... I don't know if it's still on sale, but if it is, it'll be dirt cheap, and it's essentially the same thing, and just looks better. It's alright. This one's nothing to shout about. That's much better, and I think that this is a really nice idea. It's not much, it's just a tiny little bit of salt with a little movable cannon on it, but again, that just gives you another little incentive to buy this set, because it just gives you that little bit extra for free. So would I recommend buying this set? Yeah, if you're gonna. If you don't really want it, I'm not gonna push you. It's not that good. But yeah, if it's something that appeals to you, if you like Microfighters, I would definitely say this is a good set for if you like Microfighters. Personally, I'm just going to stick to my normal sets because they're just better. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And I will see you in another video. You can check out my latest video here on the right, or a playlist of my Micromock series here on the left. If you like what you see here, press the orb in the middle to subscribe. And don't forget to check out my Flickr page to see photos of all my Micromocks that are not up on my channel yet. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.